Top Gun Maverick is upsetting the most miserable people on the planet, and by that I mean the smallest group of people that make the most noise possible. The smallest group of people out there, they are so insignificant and they do not matter, but they love to sound like they actually matter, because Top Gun Maverick is making literally every single person that sees it happy. Which is what movies are supposed to do. They're supposed to entertain you. They're supposed to make you feel good. They're supposed to disconnect you from the real world. They're supposed to take your everyday stresses away. And that is what Top Gun Maverick is doing. But apparently, for a few miserable losers on the internet, that's not good enough. It's also not good enough by their own admission that it doesn't pander to Republicans or Democrats. But apparently that's still a bad thing too, because they are admitting that when something doesn't have a political agenda, that means it's a right-leaning film, apparently. So whenever you don't have an agenda, it just means you're right-leaning. These people have completely lost their minds. But first, let's talk about Top Gun Maverick and how incredible it's doing right now, because it is truly amazing. So right here it says it's impossible to overstate what Top Gun Maverick accomplished this weekend, dipping just 32% and grossing $86 million in its second weekend. Big budget blockbusters don't behave like that. Even with less content, this summer is shaping up to be especially memorable. It is incredible. Now, again, Top Gun Maverick is a phenomenal film, and it's not a phenomenal film because it's surrounded by 2022 terrible Hollywood garbage. It's just a fantastic film. It doesn't matter when it was released, and it doesn't matter what else is being released around it. Top Gun Maverick is phenomenal, and it honors what came before it. It gives you a summer blockbuster feel, but it also has emotional weight to it, and it's there to respect the audience, which apparently is alt-right leaning according to the media. That's essentially what they're saying, because these people are insane. But if you have not seen Top Gun Maverick, I highly recommend that you go see it, because it is a beautiful film. It's a beautifully shot film, and Tom Cruise is the definition of a movie star, and he proves it in this film once again, which this is his biggest opening weekend ever, which is kind of hard to even process considering how long he's been doing this and how many massive box office successes he's been part of. This is his biggest film ever. Incredible. And if you look at this right here, it says, right there, it becomes Tom Cruise's biggest film after the second weekend. Top Gun Maverick is showing the world, and it's showing everyone that audiences don't want propaganda bullshit in their films. They simply just want to be entertained, and they want to have a good time, and they don't want you pandering to either side of the political side, whether that's Republicans or Democrats. But Vanity Fair is very upset about that. Vanity Fair is very upset because it says Top Gun Maverick is the right's latest culture war crusade. Because apparently making general audiences and everyday moviegoers happy is the right's culture war crusade. Well, if that's the right's culture war crusade, sign me up. Sign me up for films that have no agenda whatsoever, and they are simply there to entertain audiences. Thank you for admitting that when you claim everything is right-wing, you're simply just saying that everyone just wants normal shit and they don't want to be preached to. Thank you, Vanity Fair. My God, these people are all, they're all insane, and they want everyone else to be as miserable as they are. They are lifelong victims, and they need to have some type of victim mentality built around anything. Top Gun Maverick is something that no one should be upset about. Why would you be upset about this? It's unbelievable, but not surprising at all. And it's, it says, conservative media figures are hailing the blockbuster as patriotic. Ooh, something's patriotic. Ooh, that's such a bad thing, apparently. My God. And it kind of goes into whining, and they even take like backhanded comments. Aside from the Defense Department propaganda inherent to most of Hollywood's military-themed creations, the film is not overtly political in a way that is recognizable to Americans who have grown up accustomed to Air Force flyovers at the Super Bowl and World Series. In many regards, Top Gun Maverick feels like a product of the 80s, and they couldn't just leave it at that. They had to add a decade that saw the U.S. invading countries, and they have to go on that. They can't just, it's unbelievable. But then it says, it's an exhilarating, beautifully produced military recruitment ad that favors neither Republican nor Democratic sensibilities. It manages to portray a conflict over nuclear weapons as downright fun. Yet you're still crying about it. You admit that it doesn't pander to either side. You admit that it doesn't, yet you're still trying to cry about it. You're still saying, well, it's something it's not recognizable to the Americans that have been indoctrinated with Air Force flyovers. My gosh. And then it's all mainly because Ben Shapiro praised it. This is essentially why they're crying. This has led many conservatives to project their own cultural aspirations onto the film. Nothing Ben Shapiro said is wrong. Every single thing that Ben Shapiro said about Top Gun Maverick is 100% exactly right. And this is his quote. It's a very patriotic, the film. I mean, the military is a bunch of good-looking young people who are going out to defend the country. That's what the military is supposed to be. Yes. Ben Shapiro said in a recent review of the film, "That's awesome." Shapiro, a conservative podcast host, then praised the filmmakers for not treating the military as either victims of mental health problems or people who are victimized by the evil American regime. Yes, everything he's saying is 100% accurate. And you have a problem with that, apparently, because the truth hurts. Despite acknowledging that he had not seen the film, Breitbart columnist John Nolte, I think, preemptively lauded Top Gun Maverick as a masculine, pro-American. So I'd need context to see. Now, I'm not the biggest Breitbart reader. I'll read some of their articles if I can, if it's covering a story or something like that. But I have nothing against them. But yeah, if you haven't seen the film, then maybe watch the film first before you comment on it. I 100% support that. And then let's see. The thing about right-wing culture warring is that it's totally arbitrary, which lets them declare victory whenever they want. Is this like, I don't know who this guy is right here. Top Gun Maverick is the latest Hollywood production that commentators on the right have portrayed as a culture war victory. Over the past year, conservatives have celebrated the success of Yellowstone, a drama that revolves around a Montana ranching family. Again, are conservative, like, I know conservative people like Yellowstone, but it's more so just everyday Americans that don't care about politics. Like, I get labeled right-wing all the time. I am not a Republican. I'm a Trump supporter. That's it. I don't like the Republican Party. I don't like being attached to any party politics or anything like that. I despise George W. Bush. I think he's one of the worst presidents we have ever had. I think he's a horrible human being. I think he's a piece of garbage. And I hate most Republicans. Most of the rhinos out there, I hate them. I despise them. Not a fan of Fox News. Not a fan. I don't watch Tucker Carlson. But I get labeled this alt-right, Republican person because why? I call out Republicans all the time for their nonsense. The bullshit Ted Cruz pulled the other day with blaming video games for violence. Ted Cruz can go fuck himself. But if you simply reject the left nonsense out there, you are automatically lumped into being a right-wing conservative. And that's kind of what they're doing here with the Yellowstone thing. I recently started watching Yellowstone, and I love it. It's not something I started watching at first. I was told about it. And yeah, Yellowstone is fantastic because Yellowstone gives you a family drama, set in Montana on a ranch, and it's pretty awesome. It's basically Sons of Anarchy with horses. That's kind of what it is, which is awesome. But the fact that they're trying to tie that into more conservatives, and it's just ridiculous. Likewise, the conservatives have latched on to Cruise's performance in Top Gun Maverick. This is 2022, and cheering a straight white male military hero is problematic to the small vocal minority that runs the culture, wrote conservative film critic Christian Toto. Yes, and shout out to Christian Toto. But yeah, you hear how they're crying about this? Like, he's making fun of you because this is what you always say. It's very problematic. It's very problematic to cheer for a straight white male. That's because you freaks continue to say these types of things. My God, man. But ultimately, this article proves one thing and one thing only, that if you're an everyday hardworking American and you don't pay attention to politics and you don't pay attention to nonsense and you go out and you find a movie that you enjoy, you are now a right-leaning conservative who is pushing the culture war. That's it. They're admitting that anti-woke, or essentially anything that doesn't pander to Republicans or Democrats, is automatically right-leaning. And that kind of goes into that meme that Elon Musk shared, which he's not the only person that's ever shared it, but it's how the middle has completely moved so much to where people that were, you know, barely on the left, the line has moved so much that now, you know, they're just falling into the conservative line because the far left has moved so far left that they've moved the center to where far left used to be. It's insane. But Top Gun Maverick is awesome. I love the success of this movie, and I want to continue to see it succeed. So if you have not seen it, I highly recommend that you go check it out because it is awesome, and it deserves all of the praise that it's getting. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.